So Dax Shepard revealed on the Armchair Expert podcast that he and wife Kristen Bell are raising entitled daughters that are allowed to, quote, talk back and be disrespectful. Why, you might ask? Well, Dax said that he wants them to always advocate for themselves, whether he thinks they're right or wrong. So Jen, do you think encouraging kids to talk back is going to serve them well as adults?
I used to work in this very studio as a Much Music VJ back in the day. This was the early 2000s. And in that era, the biggest thing was the Osbournes. And everyone was obsessed on how the kids were swearing and how Ozzy and Sharon were parenting their kids. And this was also a tipping point for reality TV becoming mainstream. And I remember seeing in a news magazine program an expert on family saying, actually, this is a really good family. They're spending time together, they're engaged, the parents are talking and listening to their kids. And I think that Dax is being provocative. He's a podcast host, but it sounds like they are a very engaged family. They're listening to their kids, they're having back and forth, that the family unit is strong. And I think that is really good because they're high profile parents. They easily could have their kids raised by nannies. So yeah, it's a little provocative and shocking, but I think it's a good thing. I think they are actively giving advice to their kids and that the family is engaged as a unit. I heard like 2 claps. They're not convinced. They're not convinced.
They're warming
audience.
up. I want to find out from the parents what you guys think about this.
Well, I mean, I just think, for me, I do not think this is great advice. And I hear everything you're saying and I'm taking it in. But for me, I've been a former manager and I'm just picturing, as a female, that moment of where somebody comes up to you and they start like mouthing off. They start being disrespectful. And I just don't think that that's going to incur any goodwill. And that's going to actually, like, to me, a lot of times it's like you don't know what you don't know when you're starting out in a career, and to me that could be so off-putting. I don't know if he's setting them up for success in that case.
Weren't we just talking about the earlier segment, how it's important for women to speak up and we still can't speak up?
Speak up and disrespectful are 2 different things.
And I also think it's about, on top of that, I think it's about knowing when and where. And I think it takes time to build confidence, build skills, and build that kind of like repertoire where you actually have enough life experience to be able to say whatever it is that you want to say, speak truth to power, at the right time when you have the right amount of knowledge. That's what I think.
I'll say, as the only one here who has a daughter, just like they're raising a daughter, I don't like the word disrespectful, but there's a spirit behind what he is saying that I absolutely do align with. And so I'm not raising my daughter to be disrespectful, but I am raising my daughter to understand her voice and her words have value. And to me, this is not a behavior for us and our family as much as it is what are the values that you have. Your values should dictate how you are raising your children. So she has seen, and the way that we all treat each other with respect. We treat elders with respect. We treat people with respect. But respect is a 2-way street. And I think too often, speaking as a 48-year-old recovering people pleaser with a side of perfectionism, we have done a disservice to girls generally in North American culture, that we always consistently put ourselves second, that we always put other people's needs first. So there's a middle ground there that I want to believe that they're talking about, which is raising your girls to put other people first. While it sounds like a sweet thing, turns into a very toxic trait, in my opinion, as a woman when we're older. So
I totally agree with you.
I look at my daughter and I always tell her, you're gonna stand up for people who need to be stood up for.
That's great.
You're gonna stand up for yourself. Because the way I look at her is I'm raising a leader, and I imagine her in a boardroom being the only woman, and I'll be damned if anyone is gonna mansplain to my...
And here's now, if Dax and Kristen said that, I think we would all be on board. But when you say, I am going to encourage, whether they are right or wrong, for them to be disrespectful, I would love for the teachers who have to deal with them from 9 to 3 to have a little say-so in that. The ref who's part of their soccer team to have a little say-so in that. There's something about it. First of all, I don't think children need help to be disrespectful. Have you been around a child? Rude right off the bat. I think you have to learn what you want is to not take whatever's happened in your life, because that's what I'm hearing from the 2 of them. You went through something and you want to make sure your daughters don't go through it. So you think you're going to arm them with this information. But suppose you have a daughter who doesn't have that kind of personality. Suppose you have a wallflower who's like, I don't have that voice to speak up and be disrespectful. It makes me very uncomfortable. You're not taking into account your child. You're putting your stuff on your kid.
Let me give you an example. I agree.
I think you should always teach your children, you want them to be able to stand up for themselves. And when they know they're right and they can prove it, to say so in the moment. But the word disrespect is where you lose everybody, because you could be the greatest person in the world, but if you are difficult to work with and be around, you will not be, no one wants to be around you. I'm sorry.
Surely they know their kids better than we do.
Yeah, but we're also talking about two very privileged kids growing up with very rich parents, and I think arming them with the ability to like mouth off to people, I just don't see how that makes a better world for us.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think my last point on this was an example. So a lot of us know the example where somebody comes over, it's a family friend or it's a creepy uncle, and they always say, go and hug your uncle, go and hug and kiss your uncle, because it's expected, especially of girls, to be kind and polite. And I've seen it time and time again where the little girl is not comfortable going to give the weird uncle a hug or a kiss. And I'll be honest, it's not disrespect to say, no, mommy, thank you, I don't want to. And I'm going to stand by my daughter if she says
but she doesn't have to be rude to that person.
Right.
I also, people do that to me, and I'm a woman, I go, if your child is not feeling it, they do not have, I tell the child, I go, you don't have to hug me, we just met, it's okay.
Yeah.
So it's also on us adults to also guide them as well.
Absolutely.
Parenting expert Andrea Bain. You're welcome.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.